Hi everybody, it's Professor Diffley, Philosophy 255, Ethics and Social Work. This is Chapter 5, Lecture Slide Videos, Part 2. We left off with this slide a minute ago, and let's continue here. All right, so this is one of the dilemmas as I was talking about. This is something that adds into some of the dilemmas as well. Just want to touch upon this real quick is advanced directives, healthcare proxies, and living wills, something to deal with at times. These are legal documents that describe a person's instructions regarding future treatments, psychiatric or even medical, treatment choices, things like that. It's a way for, if say people are impaired or unconscious, some they could, seriously ill, they can already have decided how they wanted to be treated rather than having a family member, a guardian, or someone else make the decisions. These are similar to, do not resuscitate, that sort of thing. And one thing to make clear, though, here in Massachusetts, though, Mass only recognizes healthcare proxies. And this is covered here in Mass General Laws, Chapter 201D, Section 1, and this is what it states there. Again, you can find a form for this online, not that important, but it's limited. More or less, it appoints someone to make informed decisions about medical care for you. You could add some specific directives. The drawback to that is depending on when you made them, they could tie the hands of people trying to help you. Designated proxy. The other problem is, finding someone you trust enough to do this. These are things people do have to think about, especially, usually when they're going for surgeries. It's probably better to do it before then because, unfortunately, we know, accidents happen, stuff like that. But these are things, too, and this gives the client here, though, this is a form of their self-determination where they could decide what they want to happen. The most common form of these are probably the do not resuscitates there, where if someone, stops breathing, heart stops, they could have an order there saying the doctor should not attempt to bring them back to revive them. But other things here, and this is what I was talking about, the ethical dilemma, is this, and we talked about this, the two principles from before, to provide help, but also not interfere with another person's freedom. So really pay attention to this. This is actually for the Journal 3 journal assignment here. This is one of them you're going to see. You expect questions like this on quizzes and exams where it's going to go in. But again, remember, we're going to look at Chapter 5 and 6 together, and we'll go into this in more detail. But part of this is directiveness, right, is as a helping technique. Your clients are going to come to you because they want help, they want guidance. But again, it's that fine line of not telling them what to do, but kind of helping them find the right path. And that is, proactive intervention is part of this. And this is, if you have suicidal clients or that is where you would get involved, and maybe override their self-determination if possible. Again, we've talked about or have them involuntarily committed. These are major things if you're going to override someone's self-determination. And that's why it's a fine line. You don't want to go too far. It's a real big thing to be, involuntarily committed or locked up in those ways. The limitations and potential problems with directive helping here is, and directiveness, of walking that fine line, of trying to get them to see what is right, but you also need them to buy in on it. Then you don't want to come off as heavy-handed. Trust me, if you start going and saying every client you have it should be locked up there and competent, because you don't agree with their decisions, you can have a hard time practicing in that. But again, this one we're going to look at in the rest of the course as we go by. Again, competency and interference, and again, as long as they're deemed confident, and remember, the only the court can do this. The social worker has no authority or ethical mandate to interfere with a client's self-determination unless, this is a question of life or death for the client, right? Safety, protection of life is the highest value here. Serious danger to others, duty to protect. Again, we will talk about that more as we go. Remember, that's the Tarasoff one if they present a clear present imminent danger to themselves, or if you are reported a mandated reporter, and most of you would be in the field you're going to go into here. So, you know, you have to say something the way teachers do. Others, there are certain mandatory reporters, and we will see that more again later when we talk about confidentiality issues. So you're going to see all of this goes together over time. Again, otherwise, then, if you don't meet any of these criteria above, you know, social worker helping professionals task is to enable the client to make informed decisions. They're not always going to pick what you think they should. They're not always going to do what you think you should. Your job is to try to get them to do it, to give them all the information, let them to make the decisions. But again, that's going to be frustrating, especially when you know they're making, or you're nearly positive they're going to make a bad choice. One of the dilemmas and one of the challenges in the field. One of the questions is a person about true client autonomy and self-determination. Many say this is the only way someone is truly autonomous is. The context provides for more than one option for a person can take, right? If you say you have an option, just one option, well, you don't really have any choice there. That's not really, again, autonomy is the ability to say yes or no. No coercion by someone. And what do we mean by here, coercion? And this isn't simply saying, I think this is the best option. Coercion is usually often done with a threat of force, but here it might be, look, this is the choice you should make. I could, as a social worker, could take your benefits away, something like that. Mess with their lives, mess with their benefits, mess with their treatment. If they know you're trying to put that pressure on them, that would be coercion. Because again, they're not really making a true choice there, and they don't have true autonomy. They're doing it because they don't want you to punish them. And that's something you're gonna have to worry about with clients in the social work field and others is. Especially when they're, benefits, housing, food, money, all that sort of thing, health, those are important to people. They're not going to want to lose them. So sometimes even if a client, and this is going to be a dilemma point, you're going to have to be able to figure this out, client might not want to do what you're suggesting and what you're saying, your treatment options, but they're going to say they do anyway and pretend they do because they don't want to upset you. That's not what we want, right? We want them to make decisions themselves without the threat or something happening to them. Again, for a true client, this is informed consent, all available options, accurate information about the costs and consequences. We don't just mean dollar amounts, we mean the cost, all the possible costs there to someone and impacts. And again, they have the capacity and they have the opportunity to act on the basis of his or her choice, right? So you gotta give them the options and then allow them to actually make that free choice there. There are other ambiguities here too, and just to go over here again, see page 103, 101 to 103, and especially exemplar 5.5 on 102. Something I've talked about throughout the course is there's going to be a lot of ambiguity and uncertainty when it comes to ethical issues in social work. You're just going to have to be comfortable with that. There's not always going to be clear, right answers. That is the nature of the beast. You're dealing with human beings. Things aren't, always black and white. You can't really predict the future. So, with certainty, with absolute certainty. But here are some of them. Uncertainty about the values and goals, right? Again, sometimes your clients might not fully tell you what they believe because they're trying to please you so that they don't lose a benefit or they get a benefit rather than being outright honest, and about their goals too. What is the end goal? Clients might want a cure-all to everything, but you realize that's not possible, so you choose to pick a goal that is smaller, more manageable and maintainable. Or even obtainable, but they might not see it that way. So this can create ethical problems. Certain about scientific knowledge and facts that are relevant to any specific situation. Things change, right? This part of the reason you have to stay up on the field here is different treatment options, different science, different research comes out. You need to know that. And even then, it's not a guarantee, right? You'll never have a doctor or someone say they're going to guarantee 100% that something's going to happen. We're talking percentages here. You can't say why can't you say you guarantee it? That's not the way the world works. So there's going to be certain things. There's going to be things we know. There are going to be things we know we don't know, that sort of thing. Known unknowns, unknown unknowns. World is a complicated place, as you all know, and so it's not always going to be clear. And again, certain consequences, again, trying to predict the future. Always difficult with certainty. Again, we can guess that this is what's going to happen based on past events, but that's not a guarantee of anything in the future. These are some of the common practice lemmas. You're going to see these more and more as we go through the course here. Needs required versus available resources. Obviously, we don't have unlimited money, time, things like that. Certain clients might need more time. How do you even those out? That sort of thing. Duty versus versus power. What do we have to do? What may we do if we want to do? Right. We'll see these legalism versus professionalism. Humanitarianism versus economic. Again, weighing is a cost to do something too high, or do we do it because we're protecting a human, and who cares about the economic cost? Professional and how much autonomy do you give the client? Do you have how much agency does the client have? Again, we want to give them guidance and direction, but not make decisions for them. We're going to see professional standards and goals are going to differ in different fields. You might work with an interdisciplinary group, and you're going to all have different perspectives. A medical doctor, the people from the budget office, other things, the social worker, you're all going to have different goals because you have different careers, different fields, and you're going to be, each one's going to be held to do certain standards, and you're going to see those clash at times, and that's going to be some dilemmas. So that is it for the Chapter 5 lecture slides, just these two videos. Again, take a look at the slides as well. They're up there. You can read through them with the notes separately from these videos, and just let me know if you have any questions. Email me directly. All right. Thank you.